Let's go to the United States, where outrage has greeted President Donald Trump's ban on transgender people from the military. The ban, announced in a series of tweets, came as a shock not only to the transgender community but to the Pentagon, which is now looking at how it will be implemented and what it will mean for people already in the military. Bridget Burke reports.
Go home! Donald Trump has got to go! Hey, hey!
Chanting resist and Donald Trump must go. Hundreds of transgender supporters gathered in Times Square to protest against President Donald Trump's decision to ban transgender soldiers. The president made the shock announcement on Twitter, upending years of efforts to eliminate barriers to military service on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity. David Kilnick is the president of the LGBT network.
I'm sorry, but he's a psychopath, and he's delusional. And we have to do so because there are lives at stake. There are lives at stake. Our young transgender kids' lives are at stake. And we cannot rest for a second on letting anything that President Trump or anyone in his administration does that threatens their value, their worth, their dignity as human beings and Americans.
Transgender woman Jennifer Long served in the military for 29 years.
It was completely unexpected. I don't think anybody in our community expected such a message to come across, especially such a message that sets policy and affects so many lives. So we're talking about right now actively serving with distinction and honor. We've got 15,000 transgender service members serving across all branches. In all different job sets.
Transgender woman Barbara served for 4 years in Vietnam for the US Air Force.
When I woke up this morning and I saw the news, I was devastated. I thought we had come such a long, long way, especially in the military, which, as a veteran, I am so proud that I served my country. But this is a major, major setback for us. It seems like everywhere you turn around, there are people discriminated against the trans community for one reason or another, and none of it makes sense. We're just people like everybody else.
Mr. Trump, who cited tremendous medical costs and disruption for the ban, did not specify how his ban would be implemented. Speaking to a gathering of American Legion Auxiliary youth at the White House, he was questioned about his tweets by a reporter.
How do you decide your policy on transgender people in the military?
Mr. Trump labelled the female reporter very rude.
She's very rude.
It remained unclear whether his policy would apply to existing transgender service members or new transgender recruits. But Jennifer Long is concerned about the repercussions.
15,000 service members right now are facing discharge from the military. What do those discharges look like? Are they going to be honorable, less than honorable, dishonorable? What are the implications to them and their families, career soldiers that have, given their careers with distinction to now not have that job? That impact. How does the Pentagon react to that when making policy? What are the options and what are the shifts? Unless it's they recall the statement, which is unlikely.
The White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said the president had made a difficult decision, but one that was best for the military.
The president has a lot of support for all Americans and certainly wants to protect all Americans at all times. The president's expressed concern since this Obama policy came into effect, but he's also voiced that this is a very expensive and disruptive policy, and based on consultation that he's had with his national security team, came to the conclusion that it erodes military readiness and unit cohesion, and made the decision based on that.
But Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi argued the move outlandish. She said the Pentagon spent 5 times more on Viagra every year than for those transitioning.
The Pentagon spends 5 times more on Viagra than it does for transition-related care. 5 times more on Viagra. This morning's tweets reveal a president with no respect for the courageous men and women who risk their lives to defend our freedoms. This disgusting ban will weaken our military and land that it defends.
The Pentagon said only that it was working on developing guidance following Trump's tweets. For Checkpoint, Bridget Burke.